I want to point out that that guy was sleeping in the middle of a public park. That was not on. That was not
Yeah,
damaging
they could have
anything.
actually
and the
waited for
entire
those
city
crazy-
was unharmed around him.
Yeah, they could have actually waited for the laser people to show up first.
Or
got into
ignored it
position-
for all we know. He wasn't damaging the city.
Yeah, they could have just
It's
like
just-
asked him to leave after he took his nap. I don't know.
We just had happy, sleepy Godzilla, and then we just ruined him, but mostly ruined ourselves, because he's fine, but our city's flattened now, and
Yeah,
that
just
wasn't
go
the case before we started fighting him.
Just go pump it full of so much horse tranquilizers that just doesn't feel like getting back up again.
Like,
Godzilla
episode didn't
tranquilizers.
that episode didn't even do a good job at confirming that that dinosaur thing was even, like, dangerous, or even, like, hostile. It's like we just
It just
attacked
seems
it
to, like-
until it fought us.
It just likes to prance.
There was
I'm going into the hole now, shit.
There was a game people played in my elementary school where they would watch cars driving by and try to identify the make and model of the car. And I always thought that was really impressive. And now I wonder as an adult, were they just bullshitting?
Yeah.
And the answer was, of
Yeah,
course
that's
they
a
were.
1975 Bugatti.
Yeah, of course they were just making shit up the entire time.
Pinto.
Was anybody
Pinto.
gonna call them out on it? Yeah. I don't understand why you think that people were driving by
That's
in
a Pinto,
1970s
and that's
cars.
a Mustang, and that's a Colt.
Why are these all like classic muscle cars that we're identifying? I'm not like 900 years old. I wasn't in middle school being like, oh, there's the Edison mobile.
Is Colt also a car?
No.
Okay.
So I knew guys in middle school and high school that would do that specifically with like celebrity women and stuff like that. I'm like, why do you care so much?
I mean, you did that with Pokemon, so they'll pretend you're better than they are.
What, like trying to name them or something?
Nah, I was.
I mean,
Pokemon
earlier
was dead to me by the
in
time
our
I
Dark
hit
Souls
middle
3
school.
playthrough, we tried to name porn stars for a bit. That was a thing that happened.
How many did we come up with again? It was like 2.
I don't know, but we insisted on talking about famous porn stars for a bit there, and then talked about the IMDb of porn, which apparently is just IMDb.
Oh yeah.
I edited that not too long ago.
I was
Still
wondering
looking
why
for
that was
that.
on your mind.
I'm about done with editing the main playthrough, but then DLC has to start.
Good thing the DLC isn't really super long or anything.
Yeah, but we took a long time.
I know. Because it was 3 of us.
And then
I'll
after
have
that's
to, like,
done,
for Dark Eater, I'll just have to look at specific attempts that I choose, and be like, those are the ones I'll edit, and then the rest of it I'll just be like, here's a giant mega video from one of our perspectives that's the unabridged version of this nightmare day we had.
That day
I don't
sucked.
want-
God,
wanna lose
I
all that
hated
footage,
that.
and
wasn't
it's
that
really
like
funny.
2 days actually?
It took
Yes.
like 3 days or 2 days at least.
Our 2 days of struggle is really funny, but I can't
true.
edit. I can't edit like a 15-part thing about one boss fight.
I mean, you
It's
could,
multiple
but nobody
perspectives
would
and
watch
stuff.
it.
I bet people would watch it. People love to watch us suffer.
I could totally do this shit all day, every day, if it was like my job, but
It is.
Doesn't pay the bills fully.
it's like no, it's more like a hobby I do that's related to my job, the multiple perspective stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm not like an achievement hunter editor that's just hired to do that all the time.
No, I see what you're saying.
I gotta go make things. I'm hoping that now that 999 is airing, that I'll have enough time to finish editing Dark Souls 3 finally, because I essentially have a whole slot that's accounted for now.
That's the second game in that
recorded it.
series.
that feeling is so good when you've got like a full series
It's
more or
not,
less
though.
recorded. Ow.
Like when you did Prey in 1 week or something.
I mean, I do that with like most games. Like I
Yeah.
streamed like 2 nights of Yonder, and then that's been it. I've got to
I'm jealous a little bit.
more of it.
I can't marathon like that.
I did that with Sundered. I've got 9 hours of footage, so that's like, you know, what, 15 to 20 episodes somewhere in there. That game gets hard as shit though.
It's also
And not
very
like-
green.
Yes, I got to the. I think I'm at the very end of the game, like the last zone. There's only 3, and like one of the bosses is just like his level is those thorn bushes. Good luck.
Huh.
Yeah, the boss isn't hard, but hitting the boss is incredibly difficult.
I have a bad tendency to just have like a slow start in the morning, and then once I finally start recording, it's practically time for us to start doing multiplayer things.
I have a bad
My
tendency to
whole
have a life
schedule is
outside
weird.
of video games, which makes recording video games a real fucking hassle.
Yeah, the bad tendency of this not being your job.
The bad tendency of, like, I woke up this morning, logged in remotely into work, and then, like, babysat things because I'm on call.
Oh.
Which literally just consisted of me logging onto some dashboards and then, like, making sure
rocket
that everything
launchers.
was green, and then going away.
So I've got a machine gun rocket launcher, and it is the best thing ever.
Yeah? I mean, I've seen you, like, just pumping rockets into shit and having a good time, so...
It is great. Its accuracy is garbage, but I'm like, ooh, anthill death.
I'm just happy with my shoulder cannons because they're just consistent and usable,
Mm-hmm.
and things are working out now.
Are they still like level 0? Oh no, they're level 10. I misread. I was worried about that.
But I mean, the very first thing I do every single day is feed the bunnies. Which is, like, that's a great way to wake up. It is, it's like you wake up and you're like, I'm tired, but in like 2 minutes, I'm gonna be petting soft furry animals, and it's gonna be the greatest experience. Like, that is the best way to get out of bed every day.
Hug the comfort rabbits and hope they don't have a panic attack that kills them.
Oh man, they sure as hell did when I first got them. If I looked at them like for too long, they'd be like, "You're gonna kill me," and then they ran away.
I think we mentioned this before, but can't you isn't it possible to like put rabbits in a small amount of water and then they die of shock?
Yes.
That's
Do
terrifying.
not give your rabbits baths. They don't need it. They clean themselves like crazy. It's like their third favorite activity is to like clean schmutz off themselves.
Like cats.
They are actually very similar pets to cats, but they're a
All the way
lot.
down to being terrified of anything they don't know.
Yeah.
I can understand.
The only reason why they've survived this long is because they breed so freaking much.
I think
Which I'm okay
a
with, because
female
baby
rabbit.
bunnies are adorable.
Yeah, I think
I
a
mean, that's
female
basically the
rabbit
premise
can.
of being a rodent.
They're not a rodent though. They're
Oh
mammals.
shit, you're right.
Yep. They have a
They're
distant relation
close.
to rodents. They
They're
split
close
off.
in that they make
Yeah.
up for life by quantity.
Well, I think that rabbits share like a really long ago like evolutionary ancestor with rodents, but that thing was also not a rodent. It became the rodents.
Yeah.
So they were an animal. They were like, just a regular old mammal, and then they became like a rodent.
They just split
Yeah.
off at different points, like the chicken
Wait,
and the
what
T-Rex.
is going on? Oh
Yes.
no!
Oh,
no.
those are like
Oh,
bees or
What the fuck are
something.
those?
Bees.
Oh no, are they mosquitoes?
Oh man,
Bees.
Oh,
I
thank
brought
God they're
the wrong
bees.
gun for this. I brought my grenade launcher.
I
I'm just
have
happy
homing
they're-
weapons
I'm
and
just-
sniper rifles. I brought exactly the right gun for this.
I'm just happy they're not giant mosquitoes.
Don't
Yeah,
like
no, I'm
bees
okay
all
with
that
that.
much.
Giant mosquitoes
I don't
is
like-
really creepy though.
Yeah.
Bees just want to hurt you. Mosquitoes want to drink your insides.
They want to
Okay,
keep you
actually,
alive and
they
They
harvest
shoot
you.
needles.
Holy shit,
don't
they
even-
do. Good
They don't even
God.
attack you directly. They shoot a giant needle at you. It's like bee drill.
Oh, they make weird noises when you hit
Yeah,
them.
they
too.
make
At least they don't
horrifying
have that much
noises.
HP, which is good.
Yeah, they're
But
super
yeah,
easy
I-
to kill. And they actually do very little damage, I've noticed.
I guess I should bring my nagling self-propelled rocket launcher to the next couple missions.
You should bring your nagging gun.
Dal,
Call
call your mother.
It's just a gun that just says stuff like that.
Why don't
you ever call me
anymore?
Your grandparents
you
will
love
be
your
around
mother?
forever.
You should get a real job. Why did you go to school for art? You should go back to school for nursing.
You know you can pay your taxes early.
Have you talked to your cousin lately? He's become a doctor now. You should talk to him and see if you can become one.
If you don't
No,
change
no,
your address,
actually,
they won't be able to call you for jury duty.
It's actually more like, have you talked to your cousin lately? She's dating a guy that's going to be probably working at Google, so you should go date somebody that's going to work at Google.
Are you gonna do that, Wander?
I mean, that's for Shell, not me.
Oh.
Or do you mean work at Google? Because also no.
Oh, like when Shell gets calls about how she should date somebody else because they're gonna be successful.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh my God.
Ladybird's mom is convinced that I'm gonna cheat on Ladybird, and has been
That's
for
not a-
years.
That is not a good.
It just reminds me of how like
I mean,
I
she's
used,
right. Never mind.
So I used to carpool with a Chinese girl that was raised to go to college to meet a man.
Oh,
Like
Yep.
she was just supposed to go to college because it'd make her a better
so a
candidate
lot of
for a
people
man.
get their degree
Well,
in
yeah, it's called an MRS.
MRS degree. That's what the slang was. That's the
No,
I couldn't remember
it's
it, but yeah.
legitimately a thing. Yeah, no, I've met people that like got MRSs.
Yep.
Really.
I
Yeah.
know somebody
Called
who
MRS.
she said that she was going to school to become a mom. I was like,
Yep.
oh.
No, they weren't like schooling to be a mom. They were literally like.
No,
The
I-
point was to go to
I agree.
school to be a good candidate for a wife.
No, that's what I'm saying. She said she was studying music, but she said she was really going
Yeah.
to school to become a mom.
She was going
Yep.
to school so that she could. It'd be like it was like her schooling would basically go on her like. I can't think of the right word.
Dating profile.
No, what do you call it when you the job application thing? Your
Resume.
Her resume. She's like,
Yeah.
it's like going and getting a degree was going to be along her like wife resume to make her
Yeah,
a good wife.
I know at least
Really
3 or
gross.
4 people that did that.
Yeah. No, I was the art student on the computer science frat, and so one day it was kind of a party. It was a party my freshman year, and being the art student, I wasn't dating material for the people that were like looking
Yeah.
to score like a high-paid programmer. So at one point, I ended up talking to a bunch of, kind of women that were a satellite group to this, and one of them straight up said like, "Yeah, I'm here to, find a guy that's going to make like a lot of money." And I was just like, that's kind of a really bad thing to do. Don't you have like goals in life? And she's like, kids. And I was like, okay, have fun with that, I guess.
Yeah,
This
I
was
know
rough 'cause
people
it
that
wasn't her
legitimately.
it wasn't her self-determined goal. It was literally like her parents treating her like she had no intrinsic value aside from her ability to get a husband.
I do know people that is the case too. Yeah, where it was like you're a woman, your goal is to be a mother.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a
also-
boy, your goal is to be successful. Like,
I also knew a guy-
oh.
Yeah, I knew a
Like,
guy
men get
from
to be successful and women get to marry successful people. Maybe.
Oh, it's sad because it's true. Like, not that. No. Let me rephrase that. It's sad
It's
that
sad
it's true that people
really
raised.
do that.
Yeah, it's sad that it's true that people are raised to be that way. No,
No,
it's
I
sad
was
that
in,
it's true that only men can be successful. No. That is not what I meant to imply.
We don't want to let that one slip, huh, Mr. Amazon?
I was in a cultural anthropology class, and we had to talk to our we had to talk to our classmates because they would have kind of a
Different
different culture in
perspectives.
and of
Yeah.
themselves and stuff like that, which is neat. And the guy's goal in life was to more or less work himself to death. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna work 80 hours, make a ton of money, get married, have her work at home, and more or less just be working the rest of my life." And I'm like, you realize like you're going to die doing that. Like that, there is
Yeah,
like
I know one of the smartest people I know. She said that her goal in life was to be an office drone. She literally said that. She was like, I want somebody to just like tell me what to do and like leave me alone all day, and I just like do tasks for that person. It's like, oh, what the hell is wrong with you?
So while I was working my office job, I was looking up. I was like, instead of working at sometimes, I was looking up information about like depression
I picked
and
the wrong one to go.
office cubicles and stuff like that, and found articles about how like office cubicles are tied directly to depression, and literally the guy who invented cubicles, who originally thought he was inventing something really clever and interesting, like thinks he made a
Regrets it.
mistake by making them.
Yeah.
That he
It's
thinks he's
okay. If he
single-handedly
didn't
ruining
invest it,
people's
other people would
lives.
have made it.
Jesus Christ, this red ant will not let me go.
That sucks.
Hey, but I killed the hole.
Because for him, it was like a cubicle was like the Swiss Army knife of the office. Like it was supposed like a
Yeah.
crazy useful tool for
Oh yeah.
organizing stuff. But instead, they're used as like a giant farm that takes up the entire area, which is where I work too. It's just everyone was in their own little cubicle in this giant room, and there was hallways of cubicles inside
But
of
my-
the cubicles.
Yeah.
My dad worked at a
like
drug
trailer
research
park.
company for a while, and he had his own office, and it was great. He had his own like employees, and they were doing like a bunch of restructuring, including like switching everybody over to like a mainly cubicle system. And my dad, being a senior employee, kind of got not a choice, but he had a voice in this. He was like, no, don't do this. Like, this is going to be terrible. And they're like, well, your two options are deal with it or leave. And he's like, all right, I'll take my severance package. And then he left. That was it.
I don't work in cubicles. I work in. I literally have a desk,
Yeah.
and that actually works really well because I have to talk to my coworkers all the fucking time. So,
Well, I think it
like,
also depends on what you're doing. He was
Yeah.
doing like a lot of like
independent
quiet
type
programming
of
by
work.
himself and stuff
True.
like that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't like a large team.
I'm on a pretty small team, but like it's super duper tight knit, like all the work that we do. So having walls and stuff would be really annoying. When what I can do instead is literally stand up and go, "Hey," and then it works fine.
Hey, mirror. Yeah, it was weird. Like, I was watching like Agent Carter, and it's like an old-timey police station, and they're just in a bunch of big wood desks in a singular room. all
That's
facing the
actually
same
where I
direction
work,
in
and,
just
like,
open air.
It seemed like it was gonna be like a lot weirder and a lot less cool than it ended up being, but
Because
in like
we were
a
conditioned
lot
to
of.
accept that kind of setting for the first like 15 years of our lives.
Oh yeah, true.
That's
Because
what old school
school.
classes are. That's all classrooms is.
Yeah, but you don't do any
I mean,
collaborative work in school. Like not in situations where you have desks like that, you know.
I think it also like largely depends on who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how much
I
you
mean-
hate people.
All the
Yeah.
managers, they well, not all of them. A lot of managers do get like their own little offices because they often have to place phone calls, and practically speaking, if you're in an open office setting and you have to make a phone call, it's probably one of the most annoying activities you can do. So, giving them their own little space that they can talk privately, especially about confidential things, totally makes sense. But that also doesn't preclude the fact that my office really fucking sucks. It's the worst building. It's so bad. My first office had a golf course on it. My current office has nothing. It's bullshit.
They gave you a golf course only so they could take it away.
It's bullshit, man.
So,
Bullshit.
my first like real job was working in a lab doing monkey brains stuff.
Uh-huh. Data entry.
It had well, I
Brains.
was 3D modeling the brains and animating them for international conferences. So my boss
It's kind of neat.
was apparently like one of the world's top researchers on OCD. Like that's what she was working on. And so, being one of the world's top researchers on OCD, she was going all over the world, like all the time. So she was around for literally 3 days of my entire like 4 months there,
Huh.
which was fine.
4 months and 3 days
boss.
of having a boss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Otherwise, it was just like, where's this video? And I'm like, it takes like a week to render because you gave me a 7-year-old Mac. I got through half of the Wheel of Time series at that job because I had nothing else I could do. Because they're like, well, can you do stuff on the computer? I'm like, no. Give me another computer and I can like totally do stuff for you. I'm more than willing. They're
Guys,
like,
I can't
"Well,
kill
can't
the
you do it
nest
on my
very
computer?"
well, and all we've
I'm
done this
killing
entire
them.
mission is fuck around.
I've
I
been
am-
ignoring most of the enemies and grabbing all the armor drops.
Yeah, I've been killing the nests. I've
Okay.
almost, like, half
I've
of
mostly
them.
been grabbing loot because I'm
Don't
behind
worry.
in health.
Okay.
I've got you. I've got
But
you.
that
covered.
reminds me of
Just-
my last. It wasn't a job. It was volunteer work I was doing while I was trying to get a job because it was such a pain to get the shitty job I hated. Was that
Jeez.
I was
Capitalism.
the job market's bullshit and ruins lives. Hooray!
Yes.
So my job at my volunteer work was to filter water samples.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
We were measuring the sediment content of water samples, like how much is carried by it. So they took water samples in jars. Then I would filter out all the water through this machine that would create a pressure differential on the other side of the filter to help the water filter through. Then when all the water was gone, you would cook the samples. But what you do is you'd pre-weigh you'd pre-weigh the filter to find out what its original weight was, then you'd weigh it again after it was cooked and all the water was baked out to find out what its weight afterwards was, to figure out how much sediment weight was carried by the water sample. And each water sample took like 15 minutes to just to filter. So I was literally just standing up in a lab listening to podcasts for like 6 hours straight each time.
So, I just want to finish my story. So we had 3 rooms in the hospital dedicated to this, like, you know, kind of sub-lab or whatever you want to call it. One was the lady that was only there for 3 days office. One was a workroom filled with computers that had, I want to say, about 1 foot of space that was not covered in desk or chair, occupied by people. And one lab that was the same way. It was torturous, and they're like, can we just, like, use your office while you're gone? And she's like, no, I need it. And it's like, okay.
She sounds like kind of a shitty boss.
No, she was a shitty boss. I was glad she was never around because she was not a nice person. Unfortunately, the sub-boss was, like, equally mean because she very clearly did not understand technology. So, like, she's like, well, can't you just make the computer run faster? And I'm like, lady!
That's
I learned something about
funny
me.
as shit.
What I learned the hard way is that cubicle work makes me jumpy.
Oh, because
And
you're afraid
so-
somebody's going to come around behind you?
No, so I had super bad interactions with my boss the entire time I lived there. I worked there for no, I lived there, which is accurate.
Wow.
I had super bad interactions with my boss, and and it's his fault, really. It's just that it's super quiet and silent and lonely for like 8 hours a day. Then once every other day, somebody just walks around the corner abruptly and addresses you, and it's so startling because of how little it happens that it would actually be like a jump scare a little bit. It would make the
That's
beginning
kind of a
every
weird
social
experience.
interaction. It make the beginning of every social interaction so awkward because
That's
I was
kind
like,
of a weird experience. I'm glad I don't
briefly
deal with
startled.
Oh.
Because you're just constantly talking to people at your job.
that. I know.
It's
It's
like
kind
no,
of nice.
I
It's
had
super social.
I had super time-consuming data management stuff where I almost never get checked in on or anything. And I was also continually getting more and more downtime because I was getting better and better at automating my own job, which therefore nullifies the reason for it to exist.
Yeah.
I was doing it myself. I was automating my own job.
That's
'Cause
how it
was with
works.
Excel, and I'm like, I know how to do this. Eventually, I was just plugging in the data and getting a result. I'm like, what do I do all day now?
You
I can't
don't tell
anyone.
anybody that you automated it. That's for damn
So
sure.
Yeah.
My mother did that, and she was like, well, now I've started automating my coworkers' like jobs, which they were
You
very thankful
definitely
for.
don't tell anybody that you're doing that.
Well, no, like they like originally asked her to, and
Ha!
I think she
You
stopped.
son of a crap.
Because,
She was too good at it.
well, no, because
Ow.
her coworkers started to get laid off.
Oh,
Oh, that's some
So-
dark shit.
that
Yeah.
is rough.
Yeah,
That-
so she's like,
That's
okay,
what
never
I
mind.
do. I'm paid to put people out of work. It sucks.
So our job market was so fucked that the job itself that I was doing was so like low effort that it could be automated relatively easily. Even though I don't like when I started that job, I knew almost nothing about how to do tricky things in Excel at all, and I was just self-teaching while I went and easily automating my own job from scratch.
Excel is pretty.
The
It's
job
a great
itself-
program.
The job itself that was so menial was originally supposed to be an internship for like people that are in the middle of starting college and stuff like that.
Oh.
But they were only hiring college graduates because the job market's so dense with people that's what they hire now. Like,
Dang.
that's how fucked the entire everything is. I have to go to college to get a job that used to be meant
Bleak.
for people that weren't even done with college yet, and it took me a year to get that job.
Ouch.